So now we're outputting those latest posts. Of course, we also want to output all posts. Now, compared to the latest posts, this will be much easier. All we got to do here really is that we go to the posts view. We add a context here to the template and set a key here that can also be posts or all posts, whatever you want. I'll go with all posts here. And then here I'll point at the all posts variable. So this dummy variable which holds all the posts. I'm passing that list as a value to the all posts key in this context dictionary. And as you learned, this will add an all posts variable in the all posts template. So we can go to that template here and now simply not hard code all these include tags here, but instead again loop. And loop through our posts in posts here. And of course also end that for block. And then include that post snippet for every post through which we're looping. And the great thing is that we already edited the post snippet, so we don't need to do anything there. We instead can just save this, save all files, go to all posts, and we should see our posts here. Why is this not working? For post in, yeah, because it's all posts here, of course, because in this view here, I named it all posts. This is the name of the field which holds all posts. This, therefore, is the name of the variable which will be available inside of all posts. And therefore, here I have to use this variable name, of course. So if I save this and reload, now we also have all posts there. Let's now work on that single post view here on that post detail page. And therefore, here we want to make sure that we use the slug we're getting to find the appropriate post in our all posts list, and then pass that single post instead of the entire list to this render function. Now, how can we search for a specific post? Well, there will be different approaches, different ways of writing this, but I think the best way to do it, or one of the best ways, is to use the built-in next function, which simply finds the next element that matches a certain condition, and the condition that should be met is simply a little list comprehension which we can write here. Because here we basically say that we want to take the post that we find when going through all our posts, so through that all posts list, if that post we're looking at has a slug field which value is equal to the slug we're getting as a parameter here. So this will go through all the post dictionaries in the all posts list, look at the slug field of every dictionary, here with square brackets, because that's the regular Python syntax. We're not in a template here. So here it's not the dot notation, but this regular Python syntax for accessing a dictionary key. Then, if we have a match, that's the post which we want to get, basically. And next will then return that identified item. So here we have our post then, our identified post, if you want to call it like this. And that's the post we want to pass as context to our template. So here we can add the post key and set a value of identified post to pass that post which we found to the template. Now again, if code like this is unclear, please also dive into some basic Python resources first, because this has nothing to do with Django. This is really just Python code. Now with that post being provided to the post detail template, we can go there and use that data. For example, here to output the actual title by accessing post.title. Here it's again the dot notation, even though post is still a dictionary because we're in a template. I also want to use that title here. So here it's also post.title. Now here I want to output the author, so it's post.author, and it is worth noting that the author actually is a name written like this already with a capital character, so it's fine. If it would not be starting with a capital character already, We could, for example, use the title filter to convert it as such, but here it's already fine. Now here I also want to output the date, and therefore I'll access post.date, and here I want to use a filter. I want to use the built-in date filter, which formats this date. Now if you search for Django date filter, you can learn more about that. You can actually jump right to it. And here you learn how you can now configure this date filter to work, how it should format your date. And you see there's a lot you can configure, and I will actually keep this fairly simple. I will just use this notation here. So I will write date as a filter name, colon, and then these formatting rules, which I just copied from the official docs, which should give me this kind of look. Of course, feel free to play around with that and format the date exactly as you want it. Now we also have that content down there, and here I'll now replace those dummy paragraphs with post.content, because it's that content field in the dictionary which holds that actual content. If we now save this and reload here, we see the date and the name and the title is being output correctly, but this text down there is off. All the line breaks were removed. And that's the default behavior, but there's another filter which can help us with that. If you scroll up a bit, you will see that there actually is a line breaks filter. And if we add this filter after content in our post detail, line breaks will be preserved. So here we can add line breaks like this. Save that. And now the line breaks are still there. Now it also looks a bit odd because, well, we have very short lines, but that's only the case because I have all those line breaks here in the actual dummy content. I will leave it like this for now. Later, once we have a database and some forms where we can enter our own data, this will change anyways. For the moment, it looks like this, and the good thing about it is that it proves that this line breaks filter works. Of course, you could center this text with CSS if you want to get rid of that look for now. Now, the last thing I want to fix instead is my image, because here I'm still having that hard-coded image, and I will use the same approach as before and add the add filter here like this, and then reference post.image, and for the alt text I'll interpolate post.title. With that, if we save all of this and reload, we got the specific image for this post. So that now we can really navigate around here and we have our working dummy blog. Of course, this still uses dummy data and is not fully realistic. We're not having a database here, but we implemented a couple of key features, learned about some new features, and practiced what we learned thus far. Now let's finish this up by adding a 404 page, and let's then continue.